Welcome to our astounding agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, August 8th, 2024, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 481. We're going to start off a little bit different today. We usually wait till the end of the call to announce our winner of the week, but I'm going to use my psychic ability, and I already know who it's going to be. So we're going to start off the call with Tom Harvey. He had a real good experience. Tim, do you want to say anything before I throw it to Tom? You there, Tim? I guess we lost him.
No,
All
I'm
right.
here. I'm sorry.
Hey. Yeah, did you want to say anything before we throw it to Tom?
Yeah, just real quick. That doesn't mean that if anybody else has a great win of the week, we don't want you to share it, and we can have more than one winner. We just know this is a really good one, and we wanted to hear about it, and we wanted to make sure that we're respectful of the time that's involved because we know that there are time limits on this. That's all.
Perfect. And Tom, I did a little research. You were our winner of the week in September of 2022. So this is a repeat performance. But thank you so much for being here. And if you would just share what you shared with us online, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfectly.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I was started getting my probate leads back again. My dad passed away a little over a year ago, and I had a newborn baby. So I kind of had to take a break. And when I started back up, I went back to getting probate leads and just getting my systems back in place. And I was calling probate leads, and I was having conversations longer than a minute or two, but it was taking up a lot of time, I guess I would say. And I personally don't like cold calling, to be honest with you. So I reached out to, appointments today to talk to one of the ISAs and see how they do everything. And I called them, and, it's been a really good experience. Matt, he's owner of the appointments today. Definitely, set everything up for me. Is really easy. I was onboarded in just a couple days. And not even in my first month, I ended up getting a lead. And when I got the lead, I immediately called her. She didn't pick up the first time. And usually when I cold call, I double dial. It kind of frustrates them. So when she picked up the phone, she was frustrated. And usually I start the phone call like this, like, "Hey, my name is Tom Harvey. Hey, Lori." And she says, "Hello." I'm like, "My name's Tom Harvey. We don't know each other yet, but you're totally going to hate me. I'm a local realtor and estate solutions professional. Now, before you hang up, may I briefly tell you the reason I'm calling?" And that totally disarms everything. I let her know that me calling her out the blue is probably an inconvenience. So I talked to her for probably 25 minutes. She said that she wants to sell her house in 4 months. I asked, "Well, do you want it to close in 4 months? Do you want to list it in 4 months? Or, and she said, "Well, I'd like to list it in 4 months." I'm like, "Okay, well, then we need about 2 months to prep it for the market." So, and then it just went from there. And she said I can call her whenever. We had a really good conversation. I gave her my value and why, with you guys setting up an estate solutions team, how that kind of differentiates me from other realtors. And yeah, we just had a really good conversation. We're going to get coffee here soon, and she's going to interview me. And I closed 3 deals last month, and every listing appointment I had, I ended up winning. I'm not trying to brag. That's just a fact. So I guarantee that when I meet with her after the conversation we have, I have that listing going live here probably sooner than 4 months, because I bet you she's going to want to use some of my professionals to help speed up the process. Very grateful. And yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
But yeah, really grateful. And a lot of it is just saying, not being pushy, just saying, "Hey, would it totally be crazy if we got a cup of coffee and just talked about, what 4 months looks from now, what it looks like 4 months from now." And just saying, "Hey," and you know, we don't have to make any commitments, just a conversation because, you know, let's face it, we don't know each other. I might not be a good fit for you. Might not be a good fit for me. So, you know, at the end of our coffee date, I think you'll be pretty clear whether working together makes sense or not. Is that fair? And then just boom, that's how I do it. And it works. It
I know Bruce
took me years to figure it out, but I got it.
You got it. Yeah, I know Bruce is going to have some really good things to say about many of the things you mentioned. The only thing I wanted to mention, I think this is a classic case of recently with appointments today, Matt and his crew kind of made a shift from setting appointments to setting nurtures. So this probably came in to you as a nurture. This came into somebody who's not ready to, says they're not ready now, but they're going to want to sell quick, or they're going to want to sell in the future. So and then you did the nurture and you took it from there. Is that accurate, Matt?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they teed it up for me because when I said, you know, my assistant called you, they remembered who the assistant was. They remembered the appointments today conversation. So it was a really easy transition that, oh, I remember why you're calling. I remember that conversation. So it made our conversation much easier because they just teed me up for it.
perfect. Bruce?
Oh yeah, I mean there's a bunch of things that he did there that I thought were outstanding. First off, great job. It's amazing how easy these conversations can be when handled the right way. And sometimes even when you handle them the wrong way, but you handled it the right way, and you did what I would call the elephant in the room approach, and the big fat elephant in the room that other agents and investors are trying to ignore is that they don't know you. It's a cold call. So I love opening up with the hey, we don't know each other. This is completely random. Could I take a quick second and tell you what my call was for? I think that was amazing. And then the fact that you disarmed her by basically saying, "Look, I don't even know if we're going to be a fit to work together." All really good stuff. I was not listing off each thing that you did there that I have a name for, but you probably did 7 or 8 different things that I have a name for. It's laced with technique. And whether you were doing it accidentally or on purpose, doesn't really matter. You're doing the right things. So good job.
Bruce, one thing that's
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say real quick. You remember from Never Split the Difference, try to get him to say no right at the beginning by saying, you're probably going to hate me. Not too many people are going to say, you're damn right, I hate you. You know, so you got that no out of the way initially. Well, no, you might be a little annoying, but I don't hate you. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And saying things like, would you be offended if we grabbed a cup of coffee? Would you be totally against the idea of having coffee together? You know, so it's saying stuff like that, going for the no. Would you be offended? No, I wouldn't be offended if we had coffee. Like, of course not.
Hey, Tom, how did you I liked one of the things that you said that was really, really good. How is it that you referred to yourself? You said, I'm an estate professional, or you said it really, really well.
Yeah, sometimes I just go in right for the real estate. So appointments today, they give you a recording, and she was handling everything herself, and she just mentioned that she wanted to sell. So I just didn't beat her on the bush. I just went straight in. I'm a local realtor, and I own a estate solutions company that helps, you know, families in probate navigate the probate process. You know,
Yeah,
that's it. So, you know, sometimes when you say you're an estate solutions professional, they kind of say, huh? Or like there's a question mark. So I kind of say I'm a realtor and I own a estate solutions company that specializes in helping families navigate the probate process. Like, so I kind of mix both of them in there.
Yeah, you said it really, really well, and it sounded extremely natural, and that would be not only not off-putting, but I think it also really said it in a way that you set yourself apart from your competition and did it in a very, very nice way. And I thought that was a great way to put that. So good job with that. Just excellent work all the way around.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Tom, I know you've got another appointment in 15 minutes. So anything else you want to add?
No, I'd like to hear Matt. He's been the man who's been helping and being really helpful. So
Yeah,
I'd like to hear.
I appreciate the kind words, Tom. And one of the most important things that I want to make sure that no one missed, and it was the first thing I wrote it down. I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. So, and I tell my ISAs to do this all the time, but sometimes I just forget to tell the agents to do it. So when we set up an appointment, whether it's an appointment, whether it's a nurture, whatever it is. So when we set up a nurture, the reason why we do what's called a nurture is because they they told us, yes, I'm the decision maker, but I'm not 100% certain what my future plans are. And we know there's always going to be different variables and things that are going to take place. So I think it's very, very important to understand that when these calls are being made, if you're getting a nurture, we know we've talked to the decision maker. We know that we have someone who is keeping their options open, and we're leading with we want to help you first, and that is so unique to the marketplace because so many other folks go in and, hey, I'm a guarantee I'm going to buy your house in 5 days, and it's like, well, hold on, who are you, why are you like, there's no value added right there. It's just we're going in right for the kill. And so that approach generally, I mean, it just doesn't work. So that approach of the helping first, telling them all the different things that you can do, eliminate the stress is huge. And for us, one of the things that's key, Tom, that you said you did, and I didn't even realize you did this, you're double dialing, which is brilliant because phone appointments and even nurtures, uh, they generally have a phone appointments generally have about a 25% pickup rate or conversion rate. That's the historic average. But when you are double dialing, you double the chance, and you almost when we double dial, it's usually over 50% is when people are picking up the phone. And of course, at that point, they got a little bit of an attitude. They're like, "Are you serious? Did you call me twice in a row?" And usually, I train my guys to be like, "Oh, I meant to leave you a voicemail. I didn't. I'm sorry. I hung up too fast." And so, and usually people are like, "Oh, okay. What do you want?" But I love that you did that because it solidifies that if you use the appropriate approach and you use the right approach and you just don't give up after one call, it makes a world of difference. And so many folks will give up after the first phone call. They're like, "Oh, they didn't pick it up. That was a terrible lead." Well, maybe they forgot. I can't tell you how many times I have people that are excited to talk with me, and then they forget because the automation didn't take place. They didn't get reminded, via email 10 minutes before. They didn't get a text 5 minutes before. And life happens, things get in the way, and they forget. So the fact that you double dialed is just that in itself is a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And it does piss him off a little bit. Sorry. But it's just like
Happens.
disarming him, just saying, "Hey, I know that I'm probably, interrupting your day. Please don't be mad at me. This phone call is important, and I just like to briefly talk to you for 2 minutes. Is that okay?" Like, and they're always okay with it. Most of my phone calls, if I get them on the phone, I talk to him for more than 2 minutes. And then before I go, I just want to drop a few more things. I learned this a few months ago talking to a guy in probate where he's not getting the inheritance or any proceeds from the sale. And I asked him, "Well, how many hours are you putting into this?" And he told me, I'm like, "Do you think that you consider this a job? Like, you're working pretty hard. Would you agree?" And he said, "Yes." I'm like, "Well, would it be fair that maybe you got compensated for your hard work? Because if you weren't doing this, these people wouldn't be, getting the proceeds from the sale." They say, "Yes." I'm like, "Well, I can help you have a conversation with everybody so you do get compensated because I think that is fair." And I did that with Lori too. And she's like, I'm working my butt off and no one's doing anything. Of course, I should get paid. And that's another thing, another way I provide value too, is saying, "Hey, I think you should, I'm looking out for the executor. Hey, I think you should be compensated for this. You're taking on all the stress, the liability, the responsibility, the time, you're managing everything, you're setting appointments. And I think that has value." And so people don't really think of that. And when I bring it up to their attention, I say I could have a conversation with the whole family about that and why I think that's fair. And I guarantee that most of them won't have a problem if I'm there. And then another thing I said is like, hey, have you, are you 100% certain that the insurance policy is currently active? Did your attorney contact the insurance company to make sure that you're protected? You, Bruce, and Jim, you guys taught me that a long time ago, and I finally tried doing it, and it freaking works. It works. And they say, well, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. I'm like, your attorney didn't mention that? And she said, no. I'm like, okay, well, I was like, I'm glad you did. And that's why this phone call is important, because protecting you is the reason I'm calling. So that's maybe something you should put on your to-do list, And it's just that kind of stuff, man. But I really, really like the insurance policy, or if the property is vacant. Have you been there before? Are you 100% certain that all the doors are locked? Do you know anyone who might have keys or access to the house? I could help you change the locks for you. I could show up with the sheriff. We could take care of it if you're out of state. So all that kind of stuff is like grabs their attention, and it does show that you provide value and you're asking questions that no one else has asked.
Well, that's great, Tom. For me, I always found you're using that insurance question to keep the conversation going and to create extra value. And that's really smart. I used to use it more commonly when someone would say, well, my attorney's got everything handled. And I knew they were about to hang up. Yep. I'd say, oh, okay, so we already switched your insurance? And just shut up. It keeps the conversation going.
No, 100%.
Yeah, and it's brilliant to mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got.
Another point. Great job.
I still have a few minutes. I still have a few minutes, though.
Okay. So. Any other questions, comments? I know Coley had his hand up. Anybody else have any questions for Tom or comments?
Let's hear from Coley and see if it's relevant, if it's something for Tom.
Yeah, I just pitched it. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm not sure how relevant my question is to this, but it's more so about having two PRs for the same lead file. So my question's kind of twofold. So I reached out to one PR and found out it was the wrong number. It was the brother's number who was the second PR. And I got the impression that the one brother I spoke to, he wasn't ready to sell. He's like, I'm attached to the home. I couldn't really see myself selling it. So I'm wondering, do I keep this client in the pipeline and just market to both PRs, being that I haven't spoken to the other brother, and see where his head is at? And as far as being all the leads subscriber, is there any time when both PRs are listed, or is that kind of my due diligence to see if there's multiple PRs?
We give you what the court record shows, and typically, I mean, I will not tell you it's never happened. I will tell you, in the whole time we've been doing this for almost 10 years, I think that's about the first time I've heard of anybody say that. Doesn't mean, it never happens, but I just wasn't aware of it before. I typically only see one. Now, it could be listed as Joe Smith and, Sally Jones, and that's possible. I just have never seen it that way. First I've heard of it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just don't know about it.
Yeah, I would. You kind of know that you've got not an ally here with this lead. Okay, I would probably try to get on his side first. Mm-hmm. So, it sounds like you'd really prefer to keep the house, right? Yeah. How's your brother feel about that? Are you guys in agreement? Well, no, we're not in agreement. Okay, now you know. Or yeah, we're in agreement. We both want to keep the house. So before I ask how the brother feels, I'm gonna make sure that that the person I'm talking to feels as though I've fully accepted the response he gave. So the last thing you want is to have him go, yeah, I really am connected to the house. I want to keep it. And you go, does your brother agree? Because now all of a sudden he's like, oh boy, he's trying to divide us. But if you go, hey, I totally understand. It sounds like you'd really like to hold on to the property, keep it in the family. Yep. Does your brother feel the same way? Yeah. So are you guys gonna both hold on to the house, or are you gonna try to buy him out? What are you gonna try to do? Yeah, I may try to buy him out. Is normally what you're gonna hear. Okay, perfect. Are you getting a loan for that? I could certainly recommend a lender or two. Okay. Recommend a lender. Guess what happens? Brother that wants to keep the house doesn't qualify for a loan. Okay. Maybe he does, but a lot of times he doesn't. I hear from family members all the time, I want to keep the house. They can't. It's not possible. It's not my job to necessarily be the bearer of bad news. It's my job to be as helpful as possible. So helpful that I'm the most credible person when they enter the window, when they've realized that they can't keep the house, that they can't buy the house from their family members. I would probably also try to arrange a time to chat about refinance options or rental options with both brothers on the same line. Okay. And then there's nothing that says that if that just attempt doesn't work, there's nothing that says that you can't accidentally call the brother. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize that you were actually related to Tom. I already talked to him. Yeah, he mentioned you guys might keep the house. Silence. See if he fills the silence with like hell we are. Okay, if you might get that, but he mentioned you guys might keep the house, and then get quiet and see if he contributes any commentary or feelings on that. But
Just real
first,
quick.
I would attack it with the person that you're talking to by being helpful.
Just real quick before Tom has to go, but I appreciate you sticking around as long as you have. TC, I saw you had your hand up. Do you have a question
Yes.
for Tom?
Yes, I do. About maybe like 3-4 days ago, my teammate called someone who was going through probate, and the person said that, oh, they weren't sure that they could sell the house while going through probate. And my teammate asked me, I said, okay, well, you can say that, yes, if you are the PR, then you can. And I just wanted to know, was there something that I was missing to add in that response, or what was a better reply that I could have given my teammate? Have
That
you
was
encountered that, Tom?
I think that's a great setup to talk to the attorney.
Okay.
And say, well, if you could sell the house, when would you be interested in selling? How, well, let's say you could sell the house. What does that look like? If you could sell the house and it's up to you, what would you do? What's important to you? So like I think that you could resolve that issue easily, and maybe it's a misinterpretation, but I would try to get a hold of the attorney and then see what her motivation is if the court did grant her approval to sell it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Got it.
So I think that's a good conversation to for one, you could solve an issue for her, and two, when you do resolve the issue, you could find out what her motivation is. So you can provide value, and then also in that same conversation, understand what's important to her and what her motivation is,
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, TC. Jimmy?
Yeah, Coley, before you get off the stage, Alyssa, our director of marketing, paid you a compliment, as she said you do an incredibly good job of making sure that you reach your leads. You find a way to get in touch with them. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. Do you do anything extraordinary, or you're just tenacious?
I'm just trying to be great like the Bruces and the Tims of the world, really. So I don't know. I just try to go through that fear of failure and just pick up the phone and get out of my head and just come out guns a-blazing, really. So just making that first effort, I guess.
You keep calling until you get them, no matter what it takes, apparently. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just wanted to pass that compliment on.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Well, listen, first of all, Tom, thanks a bunch for being generous with your time. I know you got to run, and we appreciate you being here, and certainly keep us posted going forward, you know, with the results you're getting and all of that. It's great to hear that the partnership is working and we're all happy about that. And, you know, we love working with Matt, and the team that he's put together has been extremely good, I think, for everybody. And the value of this, I think we've learned a good bit about this, the nurturing side of this that I think they're sort of perfecting has become kind of second nature to us in terms of the things that we think about. And I think that's an important thing to realize, is that, you know, making the contact isn't the whole game. Got to keep moving along to get that done.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the real issue there. But again, thank you so much for your time. And I don't know if you got to run right this very second. We got one last quick hand up. Paul, did you have something for Tom?
Yeah, not necessarily for Tom, but I keep having something on my shoulder that I don't know the answer to. You
Okay,
guys,
if you'll hang on just one more second, I'll definitely get to your question. I just want to make sure that we send Tom off if there's anything last that he would like to say, and then we'll be glad to jump right back on what you're saying. Just give me 1 second.
thank you.
Tom, anything
Yeah,
else you'd like?
so I left my phone number. I left my phone number in the chat, and your lead is only good as your follow-up system. I don't put the leads in my CRM. I do, but I put it right into my phone when I talk to them. So as I'm talking to them, I put in my iPhone calendar. And if they say 6 months, I call them in 3 months. I just chop it in half. And yeah, fortune's in the follow-up. So that's it. And yeah, most of the deals I closed last week are from conversations I had a year ago. But I left my my contact information in the chat, my phone number and everything. So if you guys want to give me a call or have a quick conversation, just text me. We can set up a conversation. I'd be happy to help anyone.
That's great, man. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Paul,
Bye.
you're back up, buddy. What's up?
The company, do you guys do just probate if the inheritance is in a trust and all that? Do you get those too, or just the ones that are in probate?
So the leads that we provide are specifically probate leads. Our pre-probate product often will find stuff that's in a trust that's not already in probate yet. And so that's a product to look at as well. We offer both probate leads and pre-probate. The probate leads obviously come from the court documents. The pre-probate leads that we offer go back to starting to look at obituary listings and listings from the funeral homes and all of that. So we're, you know, kind of careful to monitor all of the sources, and then we take all that data and go augment it from there.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. And by the way, somebody is still on mic that you're open. If you're still online and you've been on the call, mute your mic there until you want to talk again, because I'm hearing background music or noise. Sorry about that. All right. Is Matt still here? Or did he take off? Matt, are you still with us, bud? Yeah, you are. I want to ask you a couple of quick questions if you've got some time.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that, and I don't want to take a lot more of your time too. We want you to get back to going to doing what you're doing, but
Oh, you're good.
I think it's important to note that it would help, I think, everybody understand just a little bit more about the whole premise of the nurture and how you guys kind of, you know, got to that and what that means. And guys, the appointments today are doing a great job with this program. And, you know, we've struggled to find the right partner to work with. And we've been really, really happy with that. Matt's very flexible. He's made some great adjustments, even to the pricing and doubling the commitment to the number of leads they're willing to call in the beginning, because they were learning with our group that it was not typical of the groups they'd been calling in the past. And so they reflexed to our group, and that worked out great for us. So anyway, I'll just ask you to talk a little bit about the nurture.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we get, so I'm going to start here. These calls are never clean. What I mean by clean is they are never the perfect scenario. They're never, I was just getting ready to look for a real estate agent, and I'm so glad you're here. I mean, it may have happened maybe once ever out of all the calls we've made, and it's rare when it does happen. So when you go through these calls, and especially our guys, like the approach that we use is we come in a little bit confused, kind of not knowing what's going on, just so we can kind of break through the whole, hey, I'm calling on real estate. Just very similar to Tom's approach. Tom is a little bit more direct, which is great. For us, we kind of use more of a, hey, not sure I got the right person. Maybe you can help me out. And then once we get them talking, we always say right in the beginning, I'm sure your attorney is handling all this already for you. The reason why we say that is because that's like our most popular of all objections. And it's really not an objection. It's just them stating something that in their mind is what's really happening. Their attorney's handling everything. When really what they don't realize is the attorney handles such a small fraction of this that the real challenge happens after the attorney's out of it. Once the probate is settled, once it's in their name. So we just go in, we're like, well, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but and actually, Tim, this is thanks to you. I've used the, hey, would you like to get your, inheritance faster? If you could have access to the money sooner, would you be opposed to that? And of course, they're like, well, how does that work? And then we start expanding and opening up the conversation. But the difference between a nurture and an appointment is if we talk to the person and say, yes, I'm out of probate. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing, and I want to hire an attorney, or not an attorney. I want to look to get an agent or someone to help me sell my house. I just don't know where to begin. We're setting an appointment for that. If the person says, yeah, I'm almost done with this whole process, but I'm going to probably start interviewing real estate agents, we're setting up an appointment for that. If they say anything about selling their house, we're setting up an appointment. But 9 times out of 10, most of these people are like, I have siblings involved. I have other folks that I need to speak with. My attorney is still too early in the process. So those individuals, we don't set up the actual appointment for because we know it's going to take some time. So what we do instead is we say, well, hey, we will have we'll have Tom Harvey get in touch with you. Tom is an expert. He helps individuals like yourself with all of their probate needs. And if it's appropriate, he could also potentially help you with the sale of your home or renting, depending on what your goals are. You guys can talk more about that in the future. Would you be opposed to having a call with him in the future? Most of the time, like, no, that's fine. He can follow up. I'm like, great. Would it be okay if he follows up within the next 3 weeks, 1 month, whatever the case may be? And then like Tom said, I always recommend to do half of what they tell us, because again, things change so quickly, and we just stay top of mind that way. But that's really the big difference between a nurture and an appointment. A nurture is someone who they're not committed to any specific real estate agent. I feel like that's very important to put that out there, because if someone tells us, yes, but my mom is a realtor and I'll never work with anybody aside from such and such person, we're not going to set that up. But if they say, yes, I'm going to be interviewing agents, then we're definitely going to be forwarding that along.
Great. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I want to point something else out. This is something we haven't talked very much about this particular thing at all in the last 2 or 3 months. And I want to talk a little bit about the credibility website for a second. We've talked to 2 or 3 people in literally the last week who said, I'm finally getting some traction on my website. Things are happening, and, people are I'm seeing my visits pick up and all of that. And I'm sure that or you should know that one of the products that we offer is a credibility website. It's very inexpensive, and it's a great thing to have there. The value of that is that oftentimes today, more than ever, people are going to try and look you up before they talk to you. They don't want to have that conversation unless they know a little bit more about it, a little bit more, what you look like, what people say about you, all that sort of stuff. And so we are finding more and more that it is one of the more valuable tools in your arsenal. We encourage you to put the link to that in in all of the letters that you send out. And that was really the original reason that we started doing it, is that we wanted a good landing page to send people to that talked about why you, as a realtor or as an investor are the right person to talk to in regard to, the problems they're having with probate. And the same thing is true for divorce. We've created the same product now from the divorce side. So we're working on, making sure that they are the right place to start finding out the right information about you to get that social proof. And having something that is highly professional, that speaks well to you as an individual, that's customized to meet your needs. We provide you with a lot of great content for it, but our MIS team works with you to make sure that the content that you need to add to it, to personalize it, to make sure that it's you and says what you want to say and talk specifically about the team that you've put together, talks about your experience with an estate sale company and how that's worked, and allows you to put testimonials from your folks on there. That's just the best way to get that stuff done. It takes a long time to build that up from a social standpoint where you're the first person that, comes up. If they search for probate in your particular county, it might not happen overnight, but we can also help you with our SEO stuff and all that to get that there. And those are things called long tail keywords in the internet world. The more intricate their search terms are, the better they're likely to find you. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that you kind of understand that we feel like it's important to have that there as part of your arsenal. And of course, we've been experiencing a lot of growth in that area. So I'm just kind of very, very much, it's a commercial, but I think it's also important to know why it's there. Everything works together and it's all part of the system. Send the letters out, make sure that the letters refer to the website, make sure that you follow up with a phone call. And if you're uncomfortable making that, and I think it was great for, what Steve said, he said, in the beginning, I didn't like to do that. And now I've learned this is a better way to do it, particularly in the larger marketplaces where, there's a whole bunch of numbers to call and a lot of people to deal with. Having that done by a team of people that, will just do it all day long until they get the job done, you're going to end up talking with the right people. So that's what the system side of this is all about. And I think that's an important thing to go deal with and for you to know as well. So Bruce, what's up with you, bud?
Interesting. I am you put me on the spot, Tim. Let me just say that. You put me on the spot. What is up? We're just over here selling training and helping agents and some investors get through and set their systems up, man. That's the biggest thing that's up right now. It's been fun hearing these prospecting conversations and strategies and what nurtures are. And I especially liked what Tom said earlier, that he's closing deals right now with relationships that were started a year ago. And every single person who comes into the probate niche, well, any niche, with the exception of maybe expireds and FSBOs, because they're either actively on the market or were just on the market, but almost every niche that I run into, and especially probate, anyone who's really good at it, I hear the same thing. I'm closing deals right now with relationships I started a year ago. I mentioned last week that 67% of real estate that's passed to heirs and going through probate is free and clear. So these are families that, yes, of course, they're going to need to sell. But a lot of times there's not that financial burden. And so you owe it to them to be relevant to their situation for the next several months, at least 6 months, at least. And a lot of people are going to take a year, and your competitors will not stay in touch with them for a year. So if you want to achieve the maximum amount of success, have a year-long campaign with the relationships you start. I recommend 5 or 6 months. So I kind of went into training mode here. That wasn't necessarily your question to me though, Tim. But I hope that helps some folks. You're in here to establish relationships and play the long game.
Well, and I think the reason I ask you that is that, I was away for a couple of days and we talked a little bit on texting, and we didn't get to have a conversation this morning, and I wanted to do that. But I also wanted to point out that, the beauty of all of this is that putting the top on your program is getting the best possible training that you can. And one of the things that I think we neglect to do too often is to talk about the necessity of continuing to practice, continuing to learn. And everyone who does well in the world has mentors that they work with. There's always somebody who knows it better than you do. And I certainly know that every single day that I learn it more every day. I get humbler every single day. I started off reasonably humble, and I have a lot of reason to be more humble now. And I think the value of having the opportunity to learn with Bruce, and I say that very definitely, I say with Bruce. And the reason I say that is that I've watched Bruce's growth as a trainer since we started this, and there's just not anybody better in the business to do this. Bruce is one of the best assimilators of the information that comes in, and then distill that information back in a way that makes it palatable, makes it something that you can implement. The what to say, when to say it. Bruce is very smooth at what he talks about, but it also gives you confidence. It becomes the wind beneath your wings to make you grow and do better. And I think that's kind of the real issue there, is that you need to avail yourself of that. And Bruce has got a bunch of great programs that he offers, and we don't do great commercial work for Bruce sometimes. And Bruce is not only, a great friend, but a valued partner in what we do. And it is a partnership that works well and has always worked well for us. Probate Mastery is the top of the line in terms of any kind of training that you can get in any leads niche that's out there, and in particular for this one. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity, Bruce, to let you know that certainly we appreciate that, but more importantly, if you're not taking advantage of it and you've not talked to Bruce or his people about what that program is about and what it can mean in your life, you need to be doing that. That's an important thing for you to do, and go forward with that. Jim, I know you got your hand up there, but Bruce, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I'll just respond and say thank you for the very kind words. I see a ton of our students on here right now. If you guys are not, I encourage you to kind of get into the orbit. The easiest way to do that, if you're not already in there, is go onto the training menu and alltheleads.com and take a free foundations class. So Probate Foundations for you guys currently is free. We're actually making a few changes and putting some short mini trainings into the system soon. But if you're not in kind of the Probate Mastery orbit, not aware of what all we offer, jump over and take that free foundations class on the All the Leads page. That'll put you into my orbit. Basically, what we do is we try to give a ton of free workshops, content, mini trainings, long trainings, just a lot of stuff that you guys can use for free to grow your business. The flagship product is Probate Mastery. It's a $400 course, and it is a 5-day, 5-session course. Each session lasts about 3 hours. We cover the opportunity and the probate process on session 1. We cover building your business and your business strategy on session 2. We cover creating a unique selling proposition and brand approach session 3. We do phone prospecting for an entire 3 hours, and we also do appointments on the last session of that. So what to say when you're in the appointment. So we want to essentially help you build a full-blown business system. So that's sort of the flagship, and we can even one-on-one coach you if you want hand-holding. So that's not to say that the ATL coaches aren't killing it with that. They're doing, and you guys should be using the All the Leads coaches. If you want multiple time a week hand-holding, we can do that as well. So I just encourage those of you that haven't checked us out to go check us out and consider getting certified. You get certified probate expert designation as well when you take the course.
Great. Hey, Steve, Jim, and Matt, I see your hands up. We got a couple other people in there. I'm going to take them first, and I'll be right back to you. TJ, go ahead.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I had a win I wanted to share. It's tough to follow up with what we've heard already, but I have been really focusing on kind of developing a network of referral partners, and of course, I'm starting with probate attorneys. What I've done is, and this is kind of a cool thing, if anybody has everybody has a local library, a public library. I have connected with the person that kind of does the adult education there, or kind of runs programs for the adults there. So every Saturday and multiple times during the week, they're looking for people to provide content for these small seminars, basically. So I connected with an attorney. I have an attorney coming with me. I'm doing one this Saturday, and there's about 20 people signed up to attend this. And it's just information about probate and settling a loved one's estate is really what the flyer says. So it's just, I don't, this will be the first one, but I have mentioned it to other attorneys and they're all really very excited about joining me. And the person at the library, my contact at the library has, we've basically decided that we're going to do a series. So, and not only that, like I'm in the county, we have several libraries. So I'm going to try to extend it out to other libraries. It's just a great free venue if you want to do a in-person seminar, get face-to-face with, like I said, I have 20 people coming that are all either interested or going through probate. So just
What a
wanted to
great
throw that
idea.
out there.
That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that. And
Sure.
it made me think of something else. And I'll suggest this to you as well. You know, I don't know about you, but I get constantly, at least once a month or so, I get something in my email, or not email, but snail mail from an investment firm, investment money manager people. And they're inviting me to, come to some restaurant and listen to their dog and pony show about investment management, money management. And it might be also something you could find those folks to partner with as well, to go to that same kind of thing. They're talking about that. It also might be something you get some joint billing with those people and camp on what they're doing, because they're already putting that stuff out, doing it all over the place. So search your inbox, your mailbox rather, for that postcard or that letter that you got, and don't throw it away this time. Take a look at who sent it out and call them back and say, hey, I do this. Maybe I'll sponsor part of that with you and get the opportunity to be in front of those people as well. But that's a great
Yeah.
idea. Thanks a lot for
That's
sharing
actually you reminded me of a conversation I had with an attorney. After I gave him the spiel, he told me that he's often invited to speak at HOA meetings for 55 plus communities. So he's like, yeah, if you want to piggyback onto that, we can do that. So that's the kind of the plan. It's really just to build the network and get, like you said, get involved and piggyback on and bring value to other people that are serving the same demographic, basically same families.
Awesome.
Indeed.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's a great idea. We'll call that our idea of the week, Jim. We'll make it.
There you go.
Haven't done those for a while. That's an idea of the week. We'll give you an idea of the week for that one, and we'll count that like a win of the week, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Jim Stewart, what you got there, buddy?
All right, I got a little success story to share. I just launched a call campaign through Appointments Today last week. So we didn't even have our first full week yet, but I already got our first nurture lead out of the efforts, and it was probably 2-3 days of setup and get started. But that's tremendous to see it, because I think I was on here just 2 weeks ago asking about a game plan, and I went forward, took action. Matt and his team got me onboarded very quickly, and I'm already seeing results. So it works, and I'm combining the calls with direct mail pieces as well. So
awesome, buddy.
Jim,
We didn't plan that. We didn't plan that. Just thank you, Jim. I
just came on
appreciate
late too, and I saw you were on here, Matt. So I thought I'd share that.
Jim, when we spoke, I think you had shared that you have had some company provided cold callers or ISAs, and I didn't hard sell you, but I pushed AT today to at least try them. So I'm glad you did. I'm glad you're getting great results. Congrats.
Yeah, and one of the things that really compelled me to go with you guys and with Matt's team is that 3 things. One is that they're connected with ATL and they understand the leads and what we're trying to do with them. They're also either American or folks who lived in the United States. All the callers are. And then Thirdly, it's like they're very open to kind of customize what your needs are. Like for me, I'm an investor, but I work real close with my my realtor partner, and so we're the leads that are appropriate for investment properties. You know, they'll come to me. The other ones I'm going to pass on to my agent, and maybe there's some folks we contact that don't have an attorney that need one. I've got a solution for that too. And I'm really excited to see what this is going to look like, 3-6 months, a year down the road by, being persistent and consistent.
That's awesome. Matt, your hand is still up there, buddy. Did you need something?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you, Jim. I had no idea. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad. Yeah, I saw that we got something for you. I believe it was like 2 days ago, so which is great. And so that was really good. And I just, every time Bruce talks, like it kind of inspires me to say something. So, anyways, Bruce said something about, and he didn't say it so much in those words, but I always tell everybody this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so if you're looking for a way to build your pipeline and build a consistent future in real estate, and this is what I tell everybody, the future, not that I'm just on this call, I mean, any lead source, I tell everybody probate in my mind is one of the best because it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. It doesn't matter who's in the office politically, and I won't go down that road, but it just doesn't matter. Like the thing is like a house needs to be sold, someone passed away, something has to happen, regardless of what's going on in the economy. And so there's so many reasons as to why, if you're struggling with leads and you're just not getting conversions, if you're able to be patiently persistent, put in the time, the effort, the work, and realize that everything that we do, it takes months before you start to see the fruits of that labor really come to fruition. And so I believe just with like the whole package of everything together, and as long as you go in knowing that it's going to take some time, you will get the results. So, and from there, I digress.
Well, that's extremely well said. And unfortunately, now we're going to have to rent another room for Bruce's head because he just swelled it up so big that everything he said is inspiring. I can hardly
No. He said every time Bruce opens his mouth, I have to say something to correct it. That's what he said.
Whoa.
Well, all right, we'll put it that way. That's even better. Now I like what you said, Matt. No, it is true. I mean, it's just so darn good that, we've got, this is probably the biggest love fest call we've had in a while. And I think that's a great thing. It's the most rewarding part of what we do. And, everybody's laughing and having a great time. And even in the chats, people are enjoying that. And that's exactly what we try to create here. We're dealing with a relatively somber subject with people and all of that. And it helps when you approach it from the right perspective. This is an enrichment call for you, enrichment for your soul. You're doing work that needs to get done. Jimmy, what you have there, man?
I originally put my, we'll humble Bruce a little bit. I originally put my hand up when it looked like we woke him up and I was going to suggest a topic, but we didn't need that with all the participation. But one thing I was going to say that we could address real quick, we only have a couple minutes left. I'm always inspired how our clients find new ways to utilize the tools we give them. Like Tom, for me, that insurance, you handle your insurance was always a way to keep them from hanging up. Tom uses it to keep the conversation going. And one thing Matt said about, he mentioned probate cash. For me, I always thought of that as a differentiator between you and your competition. But Matt also uses it to keep the conversation going. If somebody says, well, we just started probate, we're not going to be ready to do anything for 6 to 9 months. I love the question he asked. Well, we understand it might be 6 to 9 months, but would you be opposed to getting your cash sooner? So
in
new
6 to 9 days.
Exactly. And then finally, when we discussed that, Rick asked how to find that information, Tim, for probate cash. So we might want to post that or let Rick know.
Yeah, and Lisa, if you'll just put the link up in the chat as well. The other thing I'd also mention is that there are two other things that you can do with probate cash, because it's a great, even if they're not going to do it, the value of having that conversation or asking that question, do you want to get your money quicker? Well, that right there is one of the best questions you can ask in regard to the financial motivation of what's going on with that property. If that answer is ever yes, you're going to know right then and there that you got a financial motivation for getting it done. That fuse is lit, something's going on there. And we talked about, how to potentially deal with heirs that may not have the same interest in everything. But if you find one that has that interest, you know that you've got something going on there. The other thing that we do is that we also encourage you to put a link up for the probate cash on your website. We make that easy for you. We build it in with a form that automatically gets filled out when you send a buyer there. If they need to get cash quick, it's a piece of your website. The other thing that a lot of our folks have done is that they've included a flyer for probate cash with their mailing, so that it goes out right along with the mail that goes out. Is if you're interested in money quickly on your probate, here's a great way to go get that. So those are great things to get this thing done. And probate cash is obviously a great tool. And if you're online and you're not seeing this, the place to find it is www.alltheleads.com/cash-advance. 2 words separated by hyphen, cash/advance. So
And
anyway,
Tim, I always feel compelled to mention you do get a real generous commission too, if you refer people to them.
absolutely, that's correct. They do give you a piece of the pie to get that done. It's another great way to make money. Thanks, Jim. I forgot that. Guys, we're at the top of the hour. It's been a really whirlwind of a meeting here, even though, as Jim said, we did wake Bruce up, which was good. And then he woke up and became inspired and inspiring. So it just doesn't get any better than that. Hey, thank you all for being here. I'm gonna go real quickly. I've got to jump on another call, and I'm gonna go do a little bit of learning myself today. Jimmy, send us home, buddy.
All right. Well, I one of the best calls we've had in a long time. Great participation, great variety of subjects, great success stories. And I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to particularly thank Matt and Coley, TC, Paul, Rick, TJ, and Jim Stewart for actively participating. And I want to challenge each of you, take one of the many great ideas that we talked about today, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share the results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. Same time next Thursday. Take care.